Yes, people, we are back in the house, back on the channel, and back with another show. If you have not done so already, please do me a favor and check out yesterday's stream. You're going to see a couple of really heated clips coming out in the next few hours from this show. It has been unbelievable to see how heated people can still get when there's no football on at the moment. And I say no football, and that's why I'm here today, really, because we are going to be talking football, but not Premier League football. We're going to be talking about the Euros. And of course, we're going to be talking about the comments the Arsenal players are getting. I don't see how or why Arsenal are always in people's heads, but they are. And it's not just fans, it is now pundits as well. You've seen over the last couple of days, certainly in the last 24 hours, comments made in relation to Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka. And I'm not going to lie to you people, I've kind of had enough, man. I don't really understand why anybody should be picking individuals out from England and not a collective. And particularly if there's any individual to be pointed the finger at, it should indeed be the manager himself, Gareth Southgate. We're going to get into that. I don't understand why Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice are getting stick, but they are. It seems that there are some individuals out there that believe that England are in an absolute crisis because of Bukayo Saka and because of that Declan Rice. Both of them are Arsenal lads. And Paul Scholes has stuck the knife in. I think a lot of you have probably seen the comments. So we're going to talk about that and why the reaction from it. But before we get into the nitty gritty of that, do me a favor, people, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you get us towards that 30K mark. It's really important that you do that. There is not enough people hitting the like button. So please, please, please make sure you do that if you haven't done so already and you're watching on catch up. Hit that like button. It's absolutely free. Hit the subscribe button. It's absolutely free. And then you'll be a part of the community that gets us to 30K. Now, I have absolutely no idea. I don't really have no idea why this is happening. Some people say it's Arsenal fans crying and they're getting annoyed. Oh, it's just stop throwing your toys out the pram just because you can't take it because it's Arsenal, blah, 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 blah. Do you know what? It's not even the fact that it's Arsenal. It's the fact that it's nonsense. That's the problem. There are individuals in this England side that have been worse than Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka. Maybe it's because they play for teams that people don't have any obsession with. Teams like Bayern Munich, teams like Real Madrid, teams like Manchester City. Maybe because they're the sides that win everything and everyone just says they win stuff. Maybe it's because Arsenal have gone through a couple of decades where we haven't been quite what we used to be previously. And everybody seems to get that in their head because we have a section of our fan base that are completely deluded, that can be quite toxic, that can be quite toxically positive, and that can be rather annoying and gets on everybody's nerves. And I've been very open and honest about that. I don't think we have a very balanced fan base. I don't think we have a particularly negative fan base, but I certainly believe we have a fan base like many others that can get very, very over the top and try to gas everything up. But I don't think that is an excuse to point the finger at the two Arsenal lads in the England side at the moment that, in my opinion, have actually done fairly okay. Now, I'm not going to say that they've been the two best players. I'm not going to say that they're the ones not to blame because they are as a collect. But to actually look and highlight what I'm hearing in the last couple of days, it's actually been quite weird, if I'm honest, and very, very strange. And there's nothing more than I can say other than maybe it's because they play for Arsenal. And people might not like me saying that. People might think that's me throwing my toys out the pram or grabbing my rattle from my cot. But actually, what I look at it more seriously is that why those two then? Why those two? What is it that Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka have done less or worse than Kieran Trippier? What have they done less or worse than John Stones? What have they done less or worse than Jude Bellingham? Phil Foden, who's been one of the worst in the tournament so far. Harry Kane, one of the worst in the tournament so far. Now, I can understand that you might want to look at some other players from the bench getting more game time. Maybe you want to see more of Palmer, like me. Maybe you want to see more of Anthony Gordon. Maybe you want to see Tony or Watkins alongside Harry Kane or replace from Harry Kane. All of those things are actually very fair. I don't think there's anybody that can say that is a horrible take or a wild take or a madness decision. Maybe you want to see Kobe Minu in midfield. But to actually go in on players who, in my opinion, have been at the very top level of their game for the best part of between 2 to 3 years now, in Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka, and put the finger at them and blame them as the problem, I think it's absolutely crazy. How has Bukayo Saka had a worse tournament than Bellingham or Foden so far? Please give me the stats or the fixtures or the games that you want to rule out that he had a bad game at. Because I can tell you some bad games both of them have played, but I can tell you the bad games they played were alongside some other bad performances from players on the same very field. So why is it they're going in on Saka and why is it they're going on Rice? Now, some people might say, it's your fan base, bruv. They overhype them and call them world class. Well, forget them. They're in an England shirt, yeah? Grow up a bit and just look at their performances. And don't go, well, I think Saka needs dropping because Dave on Twitter reckons he's world class. So he needs to be dropped now. It's just embarrassing. Yeah, like look at yourself, really. You're an adult. You're a grown man. Look at the performances of the other players on the pitch and go, right, if Palmer's coming in, who deserves to be dropped out? If Declan Rice is having a bad game, how can we improve it? Drop him and play Conor Gallagher? Or who else have we got in there that can play there? Adam Wharton? Or do we actually try to put something alongside him to balance the side a little bit more? Let's talk about Declan Rice. Declan Rice has been phenomenal at West Ham and now at Arsenal. This season, he's been one of the players of the year and one of the signings of the year. If Arsenal would have won the league, it probably would have been him, Saliba or Ødegaard that would have walked away with the player of the season. Declan Rice probably was one of the players of the season, signings of the season, and has been consistently good for the best part of 2-3 seasons now. And people are looking at parts of his game now and saying, why isn't he driving forward? He is not the person to be looking at if England are not attacking well. England are blessed with Kane, with Tony, with Watkins, with Saka, with Gordon, with Palmer, with Eze now. They've got Foden, they've got Bellingham. And we're looking at Rice saying he needs to get forward. I need to see him more on the ball driving forward. This guy's playing in the 6 and has been asked to anchor the midfield. He's not been asked to go up there and do a Gerrard or a Lampard. Why aren't we looking at Foden or Bellingham for that role? But they don't want to because they seem to have this real fixation on Rice being 100 million and being the guy that we should all now just take forward as the new Gerrard. That's not the case. That's not the case. So Declan Rice is doing what Declan Rice has been asked to do. He's in an Arsenal shirt. He's no longer in an Arsenal shirt. He's in an England shirt. He's going to be asked to do a role which is potentially different to the 8 that Arteta wants him in, right? You're not going to see the box-to-box midfield of Rice. You might do if Southgate changes his tactics. We'll come back to him in a minute. Saka. Bukayo Saka, in my opinion, was one of our best players in the first game. He absolutely tore to pieces the whole of their left-hand side, along with the help of Kyle Walker. I thought the pair of them were probably two of the biggest positives in the first game for England. And in the second and third game, you can say that he was not the same. He wasn't getting behind his man as much. But you can't tell me that anybody else on the pitch played 8s, 9s or 10s and he had a 4 out of 10. So where this like delusion of drop this guy, get rid of Saka now is mad to me. I understand in football we've all got a little bit of favouritism towards our own players. So maybe people might think, well, Dan's just sticking up for Saka and Rice because he's a gooner. Maybe there's a little bit about that. I'm going to stick up for my boys because I think the pair of them deserve a lot of credit in the last 12 to 18 months. But when you look at what Bukayo Saka's done in an England shirt in this 3 games, you can't tell me he's the one that deserves to be dropped out of the team because he's been better than Foden, who's been stinking. He's been better than or as good as Bellingham, who hasn't done much in the last 2 games. He's been better than Kieran Trippier. He's been better than Harry Kane. He's probably been better than Stones. I mean, we're talking about different positions here, but we're looking at individual performances, apparently, that they're just picking out. Drop him, tell Rice to do this, get Saka to do that. Bizarre. Why is Foden not being mentioned as being very poor, by the way? Why is Bellingham not being mentioned as having won half an hour of football, which was good in the first game? Why is Harry Kane not being mentioned about how deep he's been dropped? Why are we not all blaming individuals here? Why should we not? Because it's the manager. And we'll come back to him in a minute. So when I'm hearing Bukayo Saka can't beat his man, Bukayo Saka can't cross it in, Bukayo Saka is having a stinker, I'm looking at his performance thinking, okay, he's not setting the world alight, but I don't see him as the worst player on the pitch. So why is Saka and Rice getting so much hate? That's my genuine question. If somebody can explain to me why they believe that these 2 players need to be binned out this side and somebody else brought in, fair play. If you want to make a debate and a claim for Palmer, you go for it. Yeah? You go for it. I've got no problem with you saying that Palmer should be in this side. If you tell me that Adam Walton wants to go in ahead of Rice, cool, go for it. But you've got to justify to me why that is going to improve England. Because so far, in the first 3 games, I've seen Conor Gallagher in midfield, I've seen Trent in midfield, and I've seen Kobbie Mainoo in midfield. We've acted as if these teams are friendlies, by the way. We've been experimenting. Who do we think's best in midfield? Let's give him a go. No, bring him out. Give him another go. No, bring him out. 45 minutes, give him a go. Oh, come on, off you come again. Still not getting it right, are we? Who else wants to go? Kobbie Mainoo. We're doing all this now. Who is the reason we're doing this? It's this manager. And I've been saying for a long time this manager's not good enough. And people just think, oh, it's you because you hate Arteta. You don't like any managers. Load of crap. Yeah? Gareth Southgate has proven nothing to me. He's not been able to do that with one of the best England squads we've seen in a long time. He's not been able to prove a style of play that is effective. He's not been able to give any style of play that's attractive to watch in terms of an attacking sense. And he's got some of the best attack-minded players in world football, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking about a Ballon d'Or contender in Jude Bellingham. We're talking about Harry Kane, the top scorer in Bundesliga and most of his time in the Premier League. We're talking about Bukayo Saka and Cole Palmer, who both managed to get over 30 GA this season. We're talking about Phil Foden, the player of the season, the Champions League and treble winner, the winner of the Premier League this season. We are not talking about bozos here. And for some reason, we have an unbelievable sense of gratitude towards Gareth Southgate because he's the most successful manager since Ramsey. Now, I've got no backup for that. Factually, he is. But have you enjoyed the period under Gareth Southgate? Have you looked at it and thought, we're playing some of the best football? He's produced some of the best players, how he's got them playing together. He's produced an unbelievable style of play. Every time I look at Gareth Southgate football, I know it's unique. It's exciting to watch. And he's the guy for me. I can't say yes to any of those things. All I can say is the squad that he's been available to at the time has definitely got him across the line. But he hasn't been able to get us over the line to do that. And in my opinion, with a better manager, in the last 4 tournaments, we would have won something by now. I think we would win something in this tournament with a better manager. I think previously we would have won something, whether it be beating France when Harry Kane put it over the bar, or whether it be beating Italy in the final when we went 1-0 up, shit ourselves and stayed back and ended up losing on penalties, whether it be Croatia in the World Cup where we ended up messing it up completely by going 1-0 up with a Kieran Trippier free kick, shitting ourselves, taking it to extra time and losing it in extra time. Now, for everybody who believes that Declan Rice is not very good in the 6 now, and Saka isn't really a right winger, and Kane isn't really the best of forwards now, please give your head a wobble. This is the manager. Now, some of the players can hold L's. That's absolutely fine. People have bad games. People don't look fit enough sometimes. People might need a bit more squad rotation. People might need a couple minutes rest. But please do something with the balance of this team because it's unbalanced. This is a manager who has brought Luke Shaw to the tournament for absolutely no reason whatsoever. A guy who's probably not going to play a game now. So bring Tariq Mitchell. Bring Alfie Doughty. Bring somebody in that you believe with your years and years of watching football, with your season of going to as many games as you want to look at left backs, go for it. Bring Ben Chilwell in, even though he's been poor. He would be better than Luke Shaw, who cannot kick a ball. He would be better, in my opinion, than Kieran Trippier, who has absolutely no left foot whatsoever, cannot beat a man on the outside and cannot cross a ball in with his left foot. So for me, you do the following. Everybody understands why you pick Pickford in goal. Ramsdale's not played enough, and I believe he's better than the other goalkeepers on the bench. Cool. I understand the partnership of John Stones, and alongside him, for me, the player of the tournament in an England shirt, Mark Guehi. I think the pair of them have been fantastic, if I'm honest with you, as a partnership. Stones has been good. Guehi has been excellent for me. So I understand that. Left back, for me, it would be Joe Gomez, but a lot of people have said they don't rate him, but I think he's had a good season in a Liverpool shirt, and I think he's better than Trippier there. Right back, you play Trent Alexander-Arnold. Kyle Walker's a good player, and people might say go and play him at left back or Trent at left back, fine by me. But you play where your best positions are. And the best right back we've got is Trent Alexander-Arnold. Not because he's good defensively, but because going forward, he's got unbelievable delivery, a brilliant engine. He's a generational footballer. And for me, on the ball, he's phenomenal. So that is why you say, okay, Trent, you can't defend, bruv. But Rice and Stones and Guehi, they're there for that. Don't worry about that. Make sure you track back and fight with your man when we need you defensively, but you go do your thing going forward because you're that good. That's what should be happening, but it's not. In midfield, if you're not going to play Trent there, then fine. That's fine. Don't play Gallagher. Don't play Kobbie Mainoo. You go with Rice in the 6 and Bellingham and Foden in at the 2 attacking 8s, or you drop it Bellingham a bit deeper and have Rice and Bellingham and then Foden in the 10. That's what you do, in my opinion. And then left, right, and up top, you've got Kane up top, Saka right, and Palmer on the left. That's what I would do. Oh, Palmer can't play left. All right, switch him with Saka then, because he can play left because he's played there before. So I don't understand where this real crazy head-scratching moment is. For me, it's quite simple. There's 3 generational talents here, and we need to be playing them in the right positions. Bellingham is that midfielder, Trent is that right back, and then obviously Foden is that number 10. Put those players in their right positions and stop mucking around with it, because it's crazy. Now, we've got idiot pundits that come out and say, it ain't Gareth. It ain't Gareth. What it is the individuals. Let me talk to you about who I mean. I think this player I'm about to mention, by the way, is probably, alongside Vieira, the best Premier League midfielder that I have seen. And I've seen Gerrard, Lampard, Yaya Toure, Fabregas, the list goes on. Paul Scholes, I'm talking about. Now, he has decided to go in on Saka and Rice. And I don't know why, but he seems to think that it's Rice and Saka that are the issue. I don't quite get it, if I'm honest. Not so much Saka. He's mentioned him, but in a different way. But let's talk about Declan Rice first. He's put out on his social media the following. Mainoo will make you play. Foden and Bellingham will win you the games. Think forward and take less touches, please, Deck. Laters. Then he decided to put afterwards, keep hearing drop Bellingham back next to Rice. Piss right off. What is wrong with this guy? Like, what is wrong with this guy? Honestly, it's bizarre. What is going on with the pointing fingers? Gareth Southgate is the issue, but let's point at Declan Rice for taking too many touches. Don't drop Bellingham back. He's a number 10. No, he's not. Bellingham is a midfielder that can play in the 8 or the 10, and he can be an attack-minded player. We've seen him on the ball. We've seen him drop deeper. We've seen him spray the passes. What's going on here? Kobbie Mainoo is not the answer for England to move it forward, because I'll tell you what will happen. Kobbie Mainoo will come in, and it will be exactly the same thing. The reason is, and the point is I'm making, Gareth Southgate is the issue. We've seen Trent, we've seen Gallagher, we've seen Mainoo, we've seen Rice, we've seen Bellingham, we've seen Foden, we've seen other players over the years, Mason Mount, Jordan Henderson, Calvin Phillips. This is the same midfield that we've been looking at for the past 4 or 5 bloody tournaments under Gareth Southgate. So let's just be real. It is not Rice and Saka that need to be looking at the blame here. Then he comes on and carries on, sorry. And I don't understand what his kind of issue is. But he put, it's making me piss, these Arsenal legends, trying to get Saka in at left back because they're afraid he's going to be left out for Palmer. What is going on here? Ian Wright suggested that Bukayo Saka be put at left back. Now, that's not a crazy take, but some people think it is. I would prefer Saka further up the field. But if you were brutally honest with me now and said, Dan, who do you think would have a better game at left back? Kieran Trippier or Bukayo Saka? I would pick Bukayo Saka because, one, he's played there better before. He's definitely come through there as a youngster, and he would 100% take on his man with his natural left foot and be able to bomb it forward. So if people want to say to him, and he's very good defensively, Saka, people give him a lot of criticism, but he's very good defensively. His work rate is phenomenal, and he would play fine there. I don't really want to see him there either. But if I had to be chosen between the two of them, and Joe Gomez is out of the equation, Kyle Walker or Trent aren't going to use there, and it's literally Trippier or Saka, I'm picking Saka. I see Big Steve talking about it. I see Ian Wright and other pundits talking about it. I see some fan base talking about it. I was thinking, I don't really like it, but I can understand why they're looking at it there. But instead of blaming the person who's not picked any left backs, the person who's not looked at the likes of Tariq Mitchell or Ben Chilwell, who to be fair has been poor, or other players that can play in that position, he's looked at playing Luke Shaw, who can't kick a ball, and Kieran Trippier, who can go and do half a job there. Joe Gomez, he doesn't trust there. So now people are calling out for Saka there. But instead of saying it's not really the option, it's Gareth Southgate's fault, he's just rolled his eyes and said, what a load of rubbish. It's all to do with Arsenal fans not wanting their precious Saka not to play behind Cole Palmer. Absolute bullshit. Yeah, absolute bullshit. Do you know why it's bullshit? I can kill all of this off. Who do Arsenal fans want at right back if this is to be true? It should be Ben White. Should be Ben White there. Ben White should be our right back. We're not saying that as an Arsenal fan base, are we? Because we appreciate that Cole Walker and Trent Alexander-Arnold are very, very good fullbacks. Now, Ben White should be in the squad, in my opinion, and he probably should be starting or in one of those positions, at centre-back or right-back. But for me, when you look at it, yes, Ben White's not there. But Arsenal fans aren't kicking off. So why would we kick off if Saka was dropped for Palmer? It's not that at all. There's options of left-back, and Saka was suggested as one of them, and Scholes has stuck the knife in and said, it must be because they're aware he's not as good of a right winger as Palmer. So now they want to force him in at left-back. Totally wrong take. Totally wrong take. It is an option, and pundits have suggested there's an option for that. We shouldn't have to be, because there should be 2 or 3 left backs that are good enough there, but there isn't. And if I'm honest with you, here's a take for you. Call me wild if we want. How many top world-class left backs are there? Let's just look in the Premier League. Name me left backs that you think are wow, top level. Name me a left back that's as good as Ashley Cole. Name me a left back that's as good as Patrice Evra. Name me a left back that's as good as Dennis Irwin. Name me a left back that's as good as Nigel Winterburn. Name me a left back as good as somebody like, let's drop the level a bit, Nacho Monreal. Name me a left back as good as Julian Dix. There isn't many, is there? You might pick 1 or 2. Gvardiol's gone in the chat. Might look at the potential of, let's say, who's the other left back options this season that look pretty good? I would say Udogie from Tottenham looked pretty good. I'm an Arsenal fan, but I thought he had a good season. He's not that level though, is he? Let's be real. Yeah. Gvardiol's gone in the chat and we're still struggling after that. The point's proven. There ain't many about. But the ones that were doing all right this season, in my opinion, haven't been selected for England. We are picking Luke Shaw still, people. Luke Shaw. He's not kicked a ball, the guy. Yeah? Estupinian is another one. I can never say that name. Estupinian, is it? From Brighton. Injured, but good. Really good the season before. Your Doggie's been mentioned. Gvardiol's been mentioned. Who else we going for? Because Arsenal ain't got a top one. Let me tell you that. Yeah? Arsenal ain't. Robertson, over the years, been very good. Poor this season, though. We're struggling. So, left back. It's an issue. Name me the world-class left backs that Manchester City have had. They nicked ours in Gal Clichy. They had Kolarov, who I didn't think was world-class. Zinchenko. Their best one's probably been Nathan Ake. And he's our centre-back. So, left-back's an issue, man. Ait-Nouri's a good shout. I rate Ait-Nouri from Wolves. I think he's a really good player. A lot of injury problems, apparently, but he's a good player. My point is this. Gareth Southgate is an issue, and people are overlooking it for some reason. I don't know if it's because they love Southgate. I don't know if it's because they want to rip into these players. But we need to be realistic about it. There are issues at England level because of our manager. That is the problem. It's got nothing to do with Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, Foden, Bellingham. You can look at them all individually and think they've been poor. You look at them all as a team select and think they've been poor. Why do you think that is? Do you think it was all a gloss over? Kane has not really been the top scorer. It's Southgate that is not the problem. Foden, he shouldn't really have got player of the year. He's not actually that good. Poor Gareth Southgate. How's he going to get the best out of him? Bellingham, Ballon d'Or, he say, rubbish. Wait till Southgate gets hold of him. He won't look like that player. Are we actually doing that? Are we actually believing all this? It's absolute rubbish. Southgate is not good enough, and he is not getting the best out of these players. There is no style of play. There's no understanding of what's happening. Gareth Southgate needs to be gone. Whether he wins this tournament or we go out again, needs to be gone. We've got an unbelievable side of the draw yet again, by the way. Don't know how we keep doing this, but we should get to the final on paper. We shouldn't worry about Slovakia, the Netherlands. We shouldn't worry about who else is there, Austria. All these teams that are apparently playing each other that we might get. we should get a nice route to, I think it's the final if I've corrected that, done that correct. Because France, Spain, Germany and Portugal were over the other side of it. So how the hell have we done that? I think if it goes the way that I briefly looked at it, we'll probably end up losing to France or Germany if results go that way. I think France have looked poor, but they probably look better than England. Germany look better than England. Portugal look better than England. Spain look better than England. I have to say, Austria look better than England. So we really, really need to buck up our ideas now and go for it. And I'll leave you on this. For the pundits and the fans that want to start slagging off England, why do we do it? Over the years, Beckham got absolutely destroyed. Rooney got destroyed. Gerrard, Terry, Rio, Lampard, they can't play together. Scholes ended up retiring on 29 from international duty because he just didn't see the point of going for it and I wanted to recover his body. I don't think we've ever treated England players well. I think we've always put under pressure. And I like the fact we're a passionate fan base and a passionate nation. Unfortunately, there's no togetherness within England. It's all, you're United, you're Chelsea, you're Arsenal, you're Liverpool. We don't like each other. He should be playing. Your players from Arsenal's crap. That Man United player shouldn't be anywhere near it. Foden, who's he? Get him out. And it's like, we should actually be looking at these teams thinking, these players should be really going for it. But we don't do that. Now, people might think that's hypocritical. You should get behind Southgate and give it to him. I can only do that by the evidence that he shows me. Foden's given me evidence he's a world-class talent. Likewise, Bellingham has. Likewise, Kane has. Saka, Rice. All these players have proven to me they're good consistently for their clubs. But Southgate's not proven consistently that he's good for his country. Southgate's not proven that he can get us across the line and win a tournament. Southgate's not proven to me that he can get us across the line. Southgate's bottled every opportunity he's got by stupid decision-making. Against France, bringing off Saka, who was our best player, and bringing on Jack Grealish with 90.3 minutes on the clock. 93 minutes, I think it was about 3 seconds to go, and he bought it. I would have told him to do one, sat back on the bench. Did the same the other night with Anthony Gordon. On you go, son. Give yourself a couple of minutes. What is happening here? So, please, accept it, Southgate, and lay off of Saka and Rice. Please. And it isn't just those two, by the way. The reason we're talking about this is because of that actual incident. I've seen it happening for Bellingham, Foden and Kane as well. Not quite as much. I don't know why Scholes has picked on these two. Maybe it's because he's ex-Man United. But I'm looking at this weekend tomorrow thinking, who's he going to be playing for England? And I tell you what, it needs to be a team that I look at and think, understand that. If he starts to drop players, it's not a problem. Needs to work though. And if Trent comes out the side and Saka comes out the side and Rice comes out the side or Kane comes out the side and it's the same, what are you guys going to say then? Maybe you might look at the manager. And that's where we're going to leave it. People, do me a favor. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit subscribe. It's been a pleasure talking to you this afternoon. Please enjoy the sunshine and keep safe and warm out there. Do me a favor. Try your best to enjoy the game tomorrow. We're out of here, people. Take it easy.